stopping by the video. This is going to be my recap and review for Real Housewives of Miami. This is season 4, episode 7. That dinner was horrible. Let's get it. The episode kicks off where it left off, where we have Nicole and her dad. Some of y'all might not like what I'm about to say about this situation, and that's okay. We can talk about it in the comments. But I feel like Nicole went there with a problem. Like, I think Nicole does have a lot of resentment built up to her father, which I don't think it's like unjustified resentment. But I don't think she came there with an open mind or an open heart to really speak to her father, because she's still holding on certain things. That's not to say I don't think her daddy is an asshole, because he was giving off that energy. I just feel like Nicole didn't go there to make amends or really lighten the load or lighten the situation with her father. So they cut the scene back where we hear the dad say 4 kids that you know of, and then Nicole being like, "Are you serious?" And then she was like, "Dad, I don't want you to procreate. You can't keep throwing money at kids and thinking that's parenting." And then the dad was like, "So you're saying I never like did anything for you?" And Nicole's like, "I've never said you were wrong for not paying for like private school, my education, but like you can't just throw money at situations and think that like you parented somebody," which is true. It seems to me that that's the way the dad shows love, is by, throwing stacks at people. But Nicole wants a better, wants deeper. And Nicole is right. You can't just give somebody money and think like you parent them, because you really didn't. But like I said, I don't think neither one of them came there to like resolve anything, because then the dad says, "I'm not changing," or "I can't change," and then Nicole shuts down. Like, you can visibly see her shut down because she's about to cry. And then she says her dad's intoxicated and that they haven't really spoken 6 months. And the last time that was at Grayson's birthday party. And the dad was like, how come you can't meet me halfway? And she was like, "I can't." And then Nicole gets up, leaves, gets in the car, and she calls her mom and tells the mom that he was intoxicated. And then the mom calls him an asshole. But I really do feel like Nicole didn't come there to really resolve anything. I think the conversation would have went better had they had somebody there to mediate, because you can see Nicole's dad and Nicole. Nicole is just as combative just like her father. So I feel like there needed to be somebody there in the middle to help them, if that's really what she wants. I really think that this is more so for a storyline. I don't think Nicole has any interest in mending things with her father. I just think she just needed him for the storyline. Because I feel like if she really wanted to solve things, we would have saw them like go to counseling, not sit down and for lunch. I really do feel like we would have saw them do a therapy session or something. I kind of feel like it's storyline-ish, but I don't think it is too far-fetched to think that she wants a relationship with her daddy. I don't know if that's gonna happen. It don't seem like it, but yeah. Hopefully, if that's something she wants, they can work on it. But if it doesn't come to fruition, at least she knows that she tried. So then we see everybody getting ready. We see Julia, we see Lenny and Lisa. Lenny don't want Lisa no more, or Lisa don't want Lenny no more. Right now, they just going through the motions of their marriage, because it's very much like there's no chemistry anymore. Like, I remember when we first saw them on season 2. You could feel like there was a relationship there. Now I just feel like it's fizzled out, and they're both just hanging on to one another, because why not? It's cheaper to keep her, because Lisa getting some type of money from Lenny. She got them 2 kids. We then see Nicole and Anthony together, and Nicole was talking about being drained, and she looked drained. Like, she looked like she'd been thinking about that whole situation and crying a lot about it. So she was saying like she wants to go to the Hamptons and have fun. So everyone, like I said, is packing for the Hamptons. We see Larsa on the phone with her youngest son, Justin. And I guess Justin was at the other home with Scotty. And things haven't been going so good with Scotty and Larsa, where in the beginning of the season, Larsa was saying Scotty wanted to split everything down the middle because they didn't have a prenup and everything was going to be cool. But now he's talking about he doesn't want to sell the home in Florida. He's reneging on everything. But I felt like it was very telling in that little excerpt we got of her son is I don't think he respects Larsa, because he legitimately went on paused Larsa and was he was real snappy. she was like, Larsa was like, I have a lot of things to do. Like, you're not taking my time seriously. And Justin was like, so does Dad. Like, I was just like, ooh. So it seems like, and this is where I have to look at Larsa and be like, don't act like what they've seen you do in the media doesn't have some type of effect on them. Like, Larsa can't act like her kids don't have social media and haven't seen her be portrayed in such a light where it would lend them to not respect her. Like, we all thought she was Future's hoe. We saw her cheating with a married man. So it's kind of like, Larsa, you kind of disrespected, you disrespected yourself, which lends to your children's disrespecting you, because you disrespected yourself on a international, national level with social media. So then we see all the ladies get up and go, like, they're all packing and they're heading to the Hamptons. The house is actually really nice. I like the outside area, the balcony and stuff. It's 2 levels, but it's only 5 rooms and it's 9 of them. So that was weird to me. Like, I didn't understand why, like, she didn't get a bigger home. Like, it's 9 women in 5 rooms, which means everybody was going to have to double up. And Larsa wasn't sharing her space, which I understood, because I'm like, if I'm the hostess, I get my own room. Y'all can figure this out. So that left 8 women with 4 rooms, which means it was going to have to be 2 to a room or like 3 to a room. So it didn't make sense, like, why they picked that house. Adriana was obnoxious. She got butt booty ass naked. And my thing with that was, like, I'm sick of seeing Adriana's titties. I am sick of seeing that lady's titties. Like, at this point, the titties aren't pretty titties. They look hard as rocks. And I'm tired of seeing them. I'm sick of seeing her titties. Like, she got into, like, so her and Julia picked a room together, but it was a really nice, spacious room. And so her way of saying, like, this was their room is she got naked. Like, she took off her top. I didn't see her take off her panties, but by the time we got to the end, like, to the middle of the episode, we saw this chick, like, scrubbing her feet, like, taking the soap and scrubbing her feet in the tub. And I was just like, why? Why, ma'am? Why? I was so turned off by that. I was like, Adriana, I'm sick of seeing your titties. I saw your titties on the first episode. We seen your titties, I think, last episode where you was shaking your nip. Now we got to see your titties again. I'm sick of your titties. I'm sick of them. So that's Julia and Adriana got a room together. So then here comes Lisa. And this is where I got annoyed with Lisa. Because I'm like, that the house only has 5 bedrooms. One of the bedrooms is taken away. So that leaves 4 bedrooms for 8 people. Y'all are going to have to double up or triple up. Because Gertie is not there yet. Mind you, I even forgot Gertie was on this episode. In all honesty, like, I didn't really even miss her. I forgot she was on this episode until they showed the preview for next episode, and they said, oh, Gertie's coming. Like, I was like, that's who was missing. So it's a mess. So Lisa is like, she doesn't want to share a room, and she's like, there's no reason why I should have to share a room. And I'm just kind of like, Lisa, you know how many rooms are in this house. You're gonna have to share a room. Like, no one's about to sleep on the it was aggravating, because I'm like, the room situation. So then Alexia chimes in and she's like, there's really no options. Like, Larsa has her own room. Me and Marisol are rooming together. You could room with us, or you could room with Kiki. And Lisa's like, no. And then she gets mad at like Alexia, saying Alexia's being real snappy with her and has a tone with her. And I was like, even if she did, she was telling the truth. Like, you have no options. Larsa is allowed to have her own room. And then they flash back to when they had the pajama party, and Lisa had her own room because she was hosting the pajama party. So the hostess normally gets their own room. So what are you talking about, Lisa? So then they're going back. Like, Lisa gets up and she walks away. So then you see Marisol and Alexia in the room, and like, Lisa's trying to talk to Alexia, saying, Alexia, I'm tired of having the tone you were having with me. And Alexia's like, I don't have a tone. I'm just telling you, there's no room. There's no room. So then Lisa gets upset. Nicole comes in there. So now Nicole and Lisa are like buddy. Because Nicole is trying to defend Lisa and tell Marisol and Alexia that the way they're speaking to Lisa is like, that's not how friends should speak to each other. And I'm looking at Nicole like, shut up. Shut up. Like, this conversation had nothing to do with you. Like, Lisa locks herself in the bathroom. And then all of a sudden, Nicole is telling Alexia that she's been super combative. And I just felt like Nicole was doing too much, and was saying that Alexia has been like really aggressive. And then we hear like, basically Nicole has some insecurities being in this group because some of the women have been friends for like almost 8+ years running. I think she said, I think in the preview for next episode, Alexia said that her and Marisol have been friends for 20+ years. So they all have relationships, and Nicole is new to the group. They do a flashback where Nicole says she felt like Alexia acts like she's the queen bee, and I'm just like, I don't think she acts like she's the queen bee. I just think she knows like she's friends with majority of the cast, and they've been friends for years, so you're just on the outside looking in. But they flash back to this scene where they're all at the club. Alexia sits down and she's like, oh, Larsa, come sit with me. And then she tells Nicole to take a picture. Now, Nicole took offense to that, where she felt like Alexia was trying to like sun her and stuff like that. But I didn't think about it that way. I was just kind of like, girl, she told you to take a picture. Now, there could be undertones about that, but okay. So then Marisol is getting annoyed with Nicole, like, who are you? Who are you? And that's because Marisol knows that, like, supposedly Nicole been running her mouth around town about the people in the group. So then Alexia, I had to get it, like, they were all arguing in Spanish, which I like. I like that they argue in Spanish because I think that's authentic to them. So then Nicole basically was like, they act like we should feel entitled to have like their we should be like, I guess, gracious that we're friends with them, but I don't even think it's that way. So then Nicole tells Alexia that like she's too like sensitive or something. And then Alexia was like, I'm not sensitive. And then they're arguing back and forth. But Alexia was like, I'm not apologizing for the way I speak or being combative. That's me. And I said, well, I could give you a point for that one. But then Marisol sticks up for Alexia. All the women are in the room by this time. And this was my thing. I'm sick of Alexia crying, using, her son's accident, then using why her older son is a bum, then this wedding. Like, it's an excuse. Stop crying. You are 54 years old, ma'am. Like, you have the resources in order to make all of this happen. You should have already picked a venue. You are the one dragging your feet for your bum son to figure out, like, if he was going to walk you down the aisle. In the situation with Frankie, you can get Frankie help. Y'all have the money and the resources to get Frankie more help. So I'm sick of Alexia crying. I'm sick of it. At first it was okay, but now I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of it now. So then we have like everyone's getting ready for like dinner and like, dressed. They're all like separated. Marisol and Alexia are like annoyed with Nicole, talking about like when did her and Lisa become best friends and like why she feel the need that she could check us. So then, the weirdest thing was Marisol brung a picture of her parents who have gone to be with Glory. And I said, bitch, is this a novella? Like, why do you have pictures of your dead parents? Like I get it, the pictures being in your wallet. Like, people do that, or having the pictures in their phones, but not you actually bringing an in-case picture to put on your bedside so when you wake up, you see them. That's a bit much. But then again, that makes sense why Marisol and Alexia are friends, because they're both hella dramatic. They're both very dramatic. But, shout out to Mama Elsa, because, we miss that lady. We do. We miss her. She would have been great on this show. So then we see Alexia, like, she's sitting down, like, she's talking to Todd. And basically, while she's talking to Todd on the phone, there's a knock at the door, and it's Lisa's hairdresser. So everyone's like, girl, you flew your hairdresser from Miami to New York to do your hair, like, to the Hamptons. And, like, they were like, that's a bit much. I kind of agree with them, but then again, I'm also like, well, if she got the funds to send the boy out there to do her hair, let her do it. It's her money. So then everybody is getting ready. The only people who seem to have like a little issue about it was Marisol and Alexia, but I think that's because they're kind of over Lisa right now. Because I did agree with Marisol when she says anytime you try to check Lisa, Lisa feels like she's being attacked and she walks away. And I was like, I don't think anyone's attacking you. They're just bringing up grievances with you. So then they're getting their food done. Mind y'all, the food looked okay, but it ain't had no seasoning on it. And I found that weird. Found that very weird. So then here comes this messy dinner. Like, this dinner got so messy, y'all. So messy. So Marisol is sitting down. Mind you, Lisa's not even at the dinner table yet because she's still doing her makeup and her hair. But Marisol presses this question where she's like, well, by the time that Marisol asked this question, everyone was sitting down at the table. And she's like, let's play a game. Who here do you trust the least? Julia cops out and she's like, myself, but she did it jokingly. Lisa says, I plead the fifth. Like, I'm not getting into this. Kiki was like, well, let's make it positive. Who do you trust the most? And then Lisa said it again. I'm not doing that. Then Marisol, like, everyone's like, well, Marisol, you're the one that bring it up, so why don't you go? And Marisol, well, who I trust the least is Nicole. And she looked Nicole dead in her face. So I said, at least you're not pussy. At least you were enough to be like, you. Okay, I'm back, y'all. So Marisol, and they're asking me about the game and all that stuff. So then Marisol says she trusts Nicole the least. So then Nicole is like, why? So everyone was like, explain. So then Marisol said, like, girl, the streets basically, honestly, the short end of the stick is the streets been talking. Supposedly, Nicole has been running her mouth. She said something about how she thought Lisa and Lenny's house was tacky and that Lisa can't dress. Then she called Larsa a hooker, mainly about OnlyFans. This is what Marisol is allegedly saying. That's what people have been telling her. And Nicole, I'll give Nicole that. Nicole owned it. Nicole said, yes, I said stuff about Lisa and Lenny's home, about how, like, she was like, the floors were slippery and I almost busted my you know what. And then she said, yes, I had she said, yeah, I had things of what's it called? Yes, I had I brain fart, y'all. She said, yes, I had like I thought those things about Larsa, but I never called her a hooker. But she was like, but I educated myself and I figured out what OnlyFans was because I didn't want to judge her. Which she did, because they show flashbacks of her saying the thing. So Nicole was owning everything. So then Larsa was like, Larsa was bothered by it, because Larsa was like, what are you talking about? Because I've heard things about you. Because Larsa was like, I've heard things about you, basically saying that Nicole was a gold digger, that like she was married to a man, then she met Lenny, and then she dropped her man, not Lenny, then she met Anthony. Her ex-husband was named Lenny, and she dropped Lenny, but she said her and Lenny were separated for 2 years before she got with Anthony. And then Larsa also said, like, you had a baby out of wedlock, and I don't judge you for that, because she was like, that's not something I would want to do. I would rather be married. So, like, Larsa upset. Larsa is in her feelings. Basically, it seems like the Miami streets be talking, because Larsa heard things about Nicole that Larsa didn't repeat. And then Marisol has been hearing things about Larsa, like, about everybody else. Like, it's like the streets have been talking. The streets have really been talking. So then you have Larsa just is like, girl, you need to keep your mouth shut. Like, you talk too much. You be saying too much shit. Like, keep your fucking mouth shut, basically. And then Larsa got real smart with Lisa, where she told Lisa, stay out of this. Do what you normally do. Just sit there and be quiet. And then Lisa was like, Larsa, don't talk to me that way. And then she was like, Lisa, I'm talking. Like, sis, no, back to Nicole. So then Larsa was like, just apologize, because we know you said it. So just apologize. So then all of a sudden Nicole says, I put this on my son's life, that Alexia told me that Marisol only got married for relevancy. And then Alexia was like, I've never said that to you. I've never said that to you. So then Nicole's like, well, put that on your son's life. And I don't like when people do that. I don't like people, because I feel like people will still lie doing that. So what's the point of it? And then that's when Larsa told Nicole, like, girl, you only been here for 5 seconds. Stay in your lane. And I said, Okay, ma'am. So then Lisa and Julia were trying to like smooth everything over because Julia was like, she's being ganged up on. And I was like, yeah, she kind of is. But like, if she is going around talking trash about people, then it is what it is. But then Julia was like, well, she said she didn't say it, so I think we should believe her. Then Lisa was like, you know, it does hurt that you said those things, because I think that's the other part that really bothered Larsa, when Larsa was like, why do you have all these unconceived notions about us? Like, why? Like, do you think you better than us, basically? And here's my thing, y'all. I'm split, because that's kind of where the conversation ended. I hope I did a good job explaining. It was all over the place. It was all over the place. But the conversation was really all over the place. Like, it was calculated for Marisol to hold this and then shoot off the gun at the table, and then Alexia to piggyback off of it. But I do also think that if Nicole is running her mouth, then like anybody could hold that in the stash if they was coming to check her. I also think there might be some truth to what Marisol is saying, only because Marisol's mom was there when Miami was created. So I feel like Marisol has ties to a lot of people and has connections with a lot of people based off of Elsa. And I also find that, what's her name? Like, Nicole and Anthony are judgmental. They give very off know-it-all vibes. And I got that when they were talking about how poorly of a job they felt like Adriana did with Martina's showcase. So I kind of see there might be weight to it, but I also feel like it could just be he said, she said. And Nicole did own pretty much all her stuff. So who knows? But y'all drop down in the comments below and let me know. Do you think Nicole is telling the truth? Like, she didn't say anything, that like she put that on her son's life, that she didn't say nothing? Or do you think that like Marisol, Alexia, and Larsa had a right to go at Nicole so hard at the table? But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic, and I'm out.